Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the WBBL review. We are here with Riser star Kirsty Brown. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. How are you? How have things been?
I'm good. It's nice like getting into like the end of preseason, getting ready to go into regular season. I'm excited to play some real games and get to kind of show what we've been working hard on. So I'm very excited.
So today we're just going to have a chat about you and get to know you better. So we'll start with where were you born?
So I was actually born in Edinburgh, Scotland. You can't tell from my accent, obviously. But yeah, I was born there and we moved to California just before I turned 7. And then we were, only supposed to stay there for 2 years, ended up loving it and have been there ever since. So was raised in California, hence my accent, but I'm here. I'm from Scotland. So I always claim it.
So you moved when you were 7. I would expect a little bit more Scottish twang to that accent.
I know that's what a lot of people think, but I think it's because I went straight into school. So we moved like the 1st of August, and obviously, school starts at the end of August for us. And I was just around all these American kids all the time. And so I just guess I think my parents said within like 2 months, I completely lost my accent. So it was kind of funny, but I wish I still had it a little bit, but oh well, maybe I'll get a little bit back now.
Maybe. When did you start playing basketball? What age?
I would have been, gosh, 10 or 11, I think. We have so obviously school is different in the US, but so middle school for us is like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So I think I was 10 when I started. So like kind of 10 to 13, 14 range, depending. And I played just for my middle school basketball team. And it was pretty much just like, oh, you're really tall. You should come play basketball. And I was like, okay. I played, every sport under the sun. So why not throw another one in there? But I obviously loved it, stuck it out, and been playing ever since.
Is your family a basketball kind of family, or were you like the first one to give it a go?
I was the first one. So my parents didn't really know much about basketball. My parents were both track athletes. So my dad ran the 800 meters. My mom did the high jump. So basketball was never something that they did. And then when I started playing, and then obviously when I got to high school and took it more serious, they, are big fans of it now. So
Yeah, they have to be now, right?
exactly.
So who would you say your inspiration was in basketball? Did you have any players that you looked up to, any coaches when you were kind of first starting off?
Yeah. So when we moved to the States, we kind of picked all the local teams. So for us, we moved to the Bay Area in California. So our local teams were Golden State Warriors for basketball, and then like Oakland Raiders at the time when everybody was still in Oakland. But I was actually a huge Andrew Bogut fan because he played my position. He was the center for the Golden State Warriors when we, started rooting for them. So I always loved him. Now I would say in terms of like men's basketball, Draymond Green I am his number one fan. I love his aggressiveness. I love his play. So him for sure. But then obviously on the women's side of basketball, I love A'ja Wilson. I think she is just amazing. And again, she plays my position. So definitely, try to look up to her as much as possible.
You mentioned earlier about all the different sports that you played. Tell
Mhm.
us a few of them. What were you really good at? What did you enjoy when you?
Oh, yeah. So I played, let's see. So I played softball for like 5 years, I think. Basketball, I have obviously been playing since I was young. Soccer, I played, so football here, and soccer, I played for, I want to say like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
I ran track for all 4 years of high school. I swam for 9 years. I played volleyball for 1 year. I played lacrosse for 2 years. I tried out rugby for like 2 or 3 months, but it was really far for me to fall. So I didn't really like that. And then I played water polo for 1 year as well. I want to say that's it.
I mean, you weren't lying about you
Yeah.
played a few sports when you were younger.
Yeah.
What would you say your favorite sport was? Take basketball out of the equation. What would you say your favorite
Mm.
sport was?
Probably volleyball, which is kind of funny because it was one of the ones I did for the shortest amount of time. I only really played for 1 year, but I'm a huge fan definitely of team sports. I think that's like what is meant for me. I just on the individual sports, I love them too, but I would just like get on myself mentally a lot. Whereas I love having just that family aspect, and I felt that in volleyball the same way I do in basketball.
Right, so you started playing kind of 10, 11. Where did you go
Mhm.
from there? Was it just within schools?
Yeah, so I only played for, like I said, those 3 years in middle school. And then when I got to high school, I made our varsity team, so our top team, my freshman year. And again, it was really just because I was so tall. I wasn't super coordinated or anything, but I was, I think, either the tallest or the second tallest on the team. And so I played just for my high school, my first 3 years. And then going into my third year of high school, my junior year, there was one of the coaches for a team that we played against saw me play at a tournament, and he was like, "Oh, do you want to come play for our travel team during the summer?" And that was when I kind of decided, okay, I really want to take basketball serious and pursue it for college. And so I went and joined their travel AAU team and played with them for that one summer, and then got my scholarship offers, decided, picked my school, picked Cal Poly, and then went and played at Cal Poly. So it was pretty much really only school, only that 1 year of travel ball.
So talk us through that kind of process of the scholarship at Cal Poly. Like, was there any other offers? How did you come upon that school?
Yeah. So I want to say I ended the summer with either 7 or 8 offers, which I was, super grateful for, super
Mhm.
excited about. And I originally had actually wanted to leave California for college. And then when I started looking at the schools, we were playing tournaments up in Oregon, and I visited, some of the schools up there. And I was like, actually, I don't really want to leave California. So I was taking more serious the schools that were in California. And it sounds really cliche, but when I took my visit to Cal Poly, like the minute I met all the girls and was on campus, I was just like, yeah, this is home. This is where I want to be, for the next 4 or 5 years. And it was a pretty easy decision. I think after my visit, I think I committed maybe like 4 or 5 days after I knew,
Nice.
right away. So I didn't believe it at first when people were like, oh, when you'll really know, until I felt it. And I was like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
easy decision for me.
So I've heard it's quite an intense experience, college
Mhm.
basketball in America. Talk us through your experiences across the years.
Yeah, so it is definitely very intense. I was fortunate enough to get to play for 5 years. As unlucky as we were with COVID, we got that extra year of eligibility, and I never used my redshirt year, so I was able to actually play all 5 years, which was really cool. But it's definitely very long season. I was actually just talking about this with my head coach the other day, and we were saying, there we go in July, we're working out all July, all August. We get off 1, maybe 2 weeks if we're lucky, kind of at the beginning of September. And then we come back, we start school, we jump right into preseason. We're doing preseason workouts the rest of September, all of October, start games the beginning of November. You're doing preseason games all November, all December, like 2, 3 games a week. We traveled, all over the country. And then end of December, beginning of January, you start conference play. You're doing 2 games a week. We had one of the teams in our conference was actually Hawaii. So it was a nice trip for us, but it was also a really long trip,
Yeah.
and missing, you're missing like a whole week of school at a time, which was tough. But I'm super happy that I did it, and I was very lucky. But yeah, it was definitely some intense workouts, and our school was about 10, 15 minutes from the beach. So we were doing a lot of sand workouts and
Mhm.
being out in the sun and everything. So it was super fun, definitely really hard, but I am so grateful for the opportunity that I had and being able to do it for those 5 years.
So how did you find it? The COVID year and the COVID restrictions that were put into place? How did you find all of that personally?
It was tough. It was very tough. California obviously was very strict with all their regulations. So when we came back in the summer, it was, everybody had to wear a mask the whole time you were working out. Our gym had 6 baskets, I believe, and it was one person was allowed at each basket with one ball. The
Mhm.
coaches weren't allowed to rebound for you. Like it was your ball. You were the one touching it. You had to, spray everything down, going in and out. We could only have groups of 6 girls in the gym at the time. we had to move our athletic department was great in moving, they took our weight room and our gym and moved it outside. So we were able to still continue lifting and doing that aspect, but it was the same. And we were split up into all these groups, and, we were getting COVID tested like every 2 days, and traveling was a nightmare. But I mean, I'm grateful that we're still able to play, especially when there were so many conferences and so many schools that didn't get to have a real season. They only played like 6 or 7 games in the end, and we ended up, I think we were able to play about 16 or 18 games. So we were definitely some of the more fortunate ones. But yeah, it was definitely tough compared to what I was used to.
What were you studying when you were there? What were you?
So I did my undergrad degree in kinesiology. So my concentration was sports science.
Yeah.
And I did that for my first 3 years. And then I actually graduated 3 years, and then started my master's program and did a master of business administration. And I didn't do a concentration for that one, just general, but I spread it out over 2 years. So filled up my 5 years.
So what was the plan when you first go into college? Was it the plan always to kind of keep basketball going, or did you have other kind of goals and ambitions? And
yeah, so I didn't really decide until this past season that I wanted to continue with basketball. I knew going in to college that I was going to be able to graduate in 3 years. So I knew I was going to do 5 years of school regardless, but I had actually anticipated doing my 4 years and being done with basketball, and then spending my last year just as a student. And then obviously with COVID and everything that happened, change of plans, and I got lucky and was able to continue basketball. And it's obviously with that schedule, it's harder to be able to do internships and everything, especially like during the summer. And where my school was located is not a hub for a lot of like sports teams. We're 3.5 hours south from San Francisco and 3.5 hours north from LA. So it's pretty much just us out there. And I knew that I definitely wanted to continue a career in sport, whether that was as an athlete, on the sideline, in the front office, somewhere around sport. So I've been able to, work this one job over the past 2 summers, which has been really fun, and helped kind of solidify that I want to work eventually in, the business side of sport, but also being around basketball, doing it through COVID and, through injuries and everything. I was like, you know what, I'm not ready to be done with it myself. I want to, continue my career as long as I can, because there'll always be something waiting for me in the sense of a real job and out in the world. So yeah, this past season, I was just like, found my love for basketball and was like, may as well just continue it.
So then how did the move to Leicester come around?
Yeah, so I signed with my agent at the end of May, and then I was actually on my graduation trip in Mexico when he called me about 2 weeks later and was like, hey, there's a team. It's Leicester, they're in England. And he was kind of explaining everything to me, but knew I was on vacation. So he was like, I'll give you all the details later. And I called my parents right away because I knew that they would know more than I did, considering, they were here for 40 years, or they were in Scotland for 40 years. And we have family kind of spread all over. So I was, they were super excited. We have family friends who, that kind of family friends, we call them our cousins. They're not really our cousins, but they live about 45 minutes away from here. We have family friends 10 minutes down the road. So they were just so excited, and we're like, oh, well, there's all these people and this is what they know. So we were getting in contact with them and just saying, what do you guys know about Leicester? What do you know about, the team and everything? And once I was able to get on the phone with Krumesh and Russell, and they explained to me, their vision for everything, where they saw me fitting in, where they saw the other girls fitting in. It was kind of that same situation with what happened with Cal Poly, whereas I was on the phone and I was just like, yeah, this feels just like the right place. It feels like where home is going to be. So it was just a pretty easy decision.
I mean, Leicester seemed to have been more active with the amount of pre-season games and trips and stuff than many of the other clubs. How have you found pre-season?
It's been awesome. It's nice. It's just like a completely different environment from college, but it's a really nice change. And I feel like I love how Krumesh coaches us, and the way that he sees things working out for us, and being able to play all those preseason games, like you said. You learn, so much in practice, but you don't really know how much you're progressing and how much you're really, learning everything like the way you think you are until you see it in that game setting. So being able to get in all those preseason games, especially, going out to Sweden and playing a different style of competition, and seeing how, it works against them, learning from them as well is so nice. And, I feel like everybody loves live play a little bit more than they love practice. So I definitely wasn't mad about all the games.
You mentioned that trip to Sweden. Did you get a chance to visit Sweden, or was it kind of solely for the games and straight back?
Yeah, it was mostly basketball, which is, a little bit unfortunate. I would love to travel and see as much of it as I could, but everyone was so hospitable and so nice and welcoming of us. And even just like seeing their arenas and their fans and how much they support their teams out there was amazing to just see, again, like a different environment. But it just shows, how basketball kind of brings people together no matter where you are. So as much as I wish we got to see more of the city, it was a great trip and I'm so happy we got to do it.
And then last Friday night, you were up in Newcastle. How was that game for you? How was the experience of traveling up north?
That was cool. Yeah, those drives are similar to what we did in college. Like I said, we were about 3.5 hours north of LA, and most of the other teams in our conference were in LA. So that part wasn't too different for me. But like getting to see the other arenas and the fans and just different teams and their style of play and how everybody comes together. It was really fun. So I'm excited to get into it with all the regular season games too.
And kind of, I guess, put a marker down for the season, beating a team who you're going to be up against by 20 points or so. I guess that sets the tone straight from the get-go, really.
Definitely, yeah. It felt good. So hopefully, we can repeat that again during the season.
You've mentioned Kumesh a little bit, head coach, first year head coach back at the Riders. So how talk us through his coaching style a little bit and what it is like playing under him.
Yeah, Kumesh is awesome. I think I just appreciate the trust that he has in us and the way that he just lets us, play live. He trusts the decisions that we're going to make, and he really focuses on our chemistry and our bonding, which is obviously going to be really important. But he just really makes sure that we know, each other's strengths, each other's weaknesses, tendencies, everything like that, and just we have our set plays and everything, but he really trusts us to just do what we do and do it to the best of our ability. And I feel super lucky to have him as a coach.
Have you played with any of your teammates before? Did you know any of them before coming over? Or is it all brand new?
No, all brand new.
So I guess a new start, fresh start.
Exactly. Yeah, it's nice, especially coming from college where you got a couple new girls every year, but it was, most of the same girls. And then this year it's pretty much, a completely brand new team. So I think that's also been kind of nice because everybody's figuring out where we fit well together. Whereas there's not much of a, comparison of like, oh, well, these half the girls played last year and these half are new. So do we try to fit into the style of last year or, are we doing something brand new? Everybody's kind of falling into place really nicely, which I think is awesome. So.
And you've got Essex on Saturday at home.
Yes.
How good is it to start at home?
I'm excited because all of our preseason games were away. So it'll be really nice to have a home game. And, just hopefully start off the season with a win, start it off with a bang. And I think it will be a really good game. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. So I put a post on social media earlier. Was it today? For fans questions. So I've just got a few for you here. What have you thought of Leicester as a city so far?
I like it. It's very similar. So we're actually in Loughborough. So we're about 20-30 minutes north of Leicester. So we spend most of our time here. And it's pretty similar to my college town, actually, where it's mostly a college town. It's pretty much based around the university. But I think my favorite thing has definitely been going and trying all the different food. I'm definitely a big foodie person, and there's lots of options here. And even when we have been down in Leicester, when we've been practicing there, going to the men's games, we have been trying out all the different restaurants down there. And the shopping, of course, is always fun for me. So I think the food here is definitely one of my favorite parts. And I love that there's so many options. So I just get to try a little bit of everything.
Okay, next one. What is your most embarrassing moment on court? What has been your most?
Oh gosh, which one? There's a couple.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We've got time. We've got time.
Yeah, I will say I haven't always been the most coordinated person on the court. So there was one time I remember I was going to, was I going for, yes, I was going to try and box out this one girl, and she just kind of like ran past me. So I turned around to kind of chase her and box her out. And I literally just tripped over her foot and slid. And I was so sweaty that I slid like 5 feet on my hands and knees. And it was very embarrassing because I was like, I'm supposed to be, defending this girl. And I literally just tripped and face planted myself. So there's that one. And then the other one is probably, it was my freshman year of college, and I subbed into the game, and I was so excited because I had it. It was one of the like first games in the beginning of preseason, and I, wasn't playing a lot of minutes. I was a freshman, and I came in on a free throw and moved before the girl even shot the ball, and like she got an extra shot, an extra make, and I just remember my coach was just like, "What are you doing?" And it was all of my friends, like from my dorm and from the other athletic teams, were all there sitting in the stands, and it was the first thing everybody said after the game. They were like, you come into the game and you automatically, mess up and everybody's looking at you. And I was like, oh gosh, yep, of course.
Nice one. Right. Is there anywhere you'd want to visit when you're over in England? Is there any kind of touristy things you want to do when you're over?
Oh, I definitely want to go, actually, funnily enough, up to Edinburgh again, but I want to do like the dungeon tour. I think
Okay.
I've heard that that's really good. And I'm definitely a big fan of like scary movies, thriller movies, like conspiracy theories, horror stories, stuff like that. So I think that would really, I've done the London ones, but so I want to go up and do the Edinburgh ones as well.
Nice one.
I know that's
Right.
not in England, but
Yeah. So quick fire questions. Okay, just I don't know, 10 or so questions. Nice and quick. Either or type questions. So do you prefer McDonald's or KFC?
McDonald's.
Okay. What is your favorite Netflix series?
Oh, probably oh gosh. I watched too many. This is such a hard question. I'm gonna have to go with Schitt's Creek. It's really funny.
Okay. I've never seen that. Never seen it.
It's a good one. You
You'll have
gotta
to
watch it.
Do you prefer tea or coffee?
Tea. I'm not a coffee drinker.
Okay. What's your favorite jersey number and why?
25. And it's kind of a funny story. It's not too long. I'll be really quick. But basically, when I was picking my number for college, I had been 15 all through high school. So I wanted to be 15. It was already taken. So I wanted to be 12 because it was one of my numbers when I played soccer. It was just retired. So I wanted to be 10 because it was my other number when I played soccer. It was also retired. So I wanted to be 26 because my birthday is on the 26th, but it's not a legal basketball number in the US. So I just knocked one off and went to 25 and stuck with it ever since.
That's quite a story. What is your favorite Disney film?
Oh, probably Beauty and the Beast.
The older one or the new one?
The older one.
Okay. What annoys you the most?
Oh gosh. This sounds kind of bad, but I hate people that walk really slow. And I think it's because I have such a long stride. So if I'm, behind somebody and they're walking really slow, I get very frustrated.
Someone else I've talked to this season said that exact same answer. I can't remember
Really?
who it was now. Slow walkers.
Yes.
Do you have a game day routine that you stick to every game day?
Not really, actually. Our game times in college were kind of all over the place, so I never really had, like a set schedule for the day or anything. But I guess actually what I will do is I always have to put my right ankle guard and shoe on before my left. Okay. So it's just a little thing.
Have you got a favorite ever teammate that you've had?
Oh, that would be tough. I guess I'll have to say my sister. We played together for one game my senior year of high school. She was a sophomore and we got to play together for our one postseason game. So we were teammates for one game, but I'll pick her.
So is your sister still playing basketball now? Is she coming?
No.
No.
No, she only played for I think like 4 or 5 years, and then she picked swim instead. So
Okay. This sport and family.
Yes.
What is your best moment on court?
Ooh, I would say it's not so much a personal best moment, but like a team best moment was my freshman year. We were tied for second place with Hawaii, and we went to Hawaii and we played. I mean, I played one of the best games of my year, my freshman year then, but as a team, we played amazing and we ended up beating them at Hawaii, which was the first time that had happened in like 10 years, and clinched our spot to be second in conference and go straight. We got a bye straight to the semifinals for the tournament. So to get to be a part of that was, I mean, a great experience.
What is your favorite snack?
Okay. My favorite like British snack is hula hoops, specifically salt and vinegar. They are my favorites. When I, was coming here and my coach was picking me up from the airport, he was like, "Do you want anything?" And I said, "Salt and vinegar hula hoops, please." So that would be my favorite snack here. And then probably in the US, oh gosh, probably chocolate. Honestly, I have to have chocolate every day. So, but Cadbury's is better. I will admit Cadbury's is better than Hershey's.
Nice. Would you have pineapple on a pizza?
Absolutely. Hawaiian is my favorite.
Yes. Who is you kind of answered this question before, I guess, with Draymond Green, but who is your favorite basketballer of all time? Is that the same as the inspiration?
Still Draymond Green, yeah.
Yeah. What would you say your main strength as a basketballer was?
I think my quickness. I think in my position, it's a huge strength to just be able to run up and down the court and be versatile as well.
Well, it's been absolutely fascinating. I've got one question left, but before I ask that one, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. Good luck for the rest of the season. Well, the rest of the rest of the season. It feels like Leicester have had a whole season, the amount of pre-season games. But yeah, good luck for the season, and hope to hopefully catch up with you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me again. It's been fun.
So to finish, can you finish this sentence? I love basketball because
of the family. It's all a family, and I think that's definitely my favorite part. The team, the coaches, everybody, the fans. It's a family.
Amazing. Can't argue with that. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I'll speak to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Bye. Well, what an absolute pleasure it was talking to Kirsty Brown of the Leicester Riders. Thank you so much, Kirsty, again for joining me and giving us your story. As I say, good luck for the rest of the season. Now, latest news time. Signings are constantly coming in, so it's building up to Friday night's opening matchup between the Caledonia Gladiators and the Newcastle Eagles. An exciting start of the season up in Paisley. But the signings have been coming in. I know Cardiff are releasing a load of signings today and the last few days. So make sure you check out that tracker on Hoops Fix. They do a wonderful job keeping us up to date. Can't wait till the season starts so we can see what rosters we've got for each of the teams. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who listens to this. A huge thank you to everyone who sticks a like on, subscribes using that button at the bottom. I can't remember which side it is, but it means so much, and it helps kind of support what I'm trying to achieve here. Building up the WBBL, giving it a platform that it so rightly deserves. This week I am heading to the Eagles Arena on Saturday night, where they're having a Q&A meet and greet session with the WBBL team. And then I'm jumping straight on a bus, heading for London to see London versus Sevenoaks on the Sunday afternoon. So there'll be loads of content to come from those 2 days. Make sure you subscribe so you keep yourself up to date. And keep sharing it. Anyone you think will want to listen to the incredible stories that each player that we've interviewed so far this year has got, and obviously we've got loads more coming. So again, a huge thank you, and I will see you again very soon.